Emeka was not just another trader at Alaba Market, he was a man whose name carried weight among businessmen. Known for his sharp instincts and thriving shops at the multinational plaza, he had carved out a reputation as shrewd yet generous. When it came to Doris, his heart softened. To show his commitment, he went beyond words, presenting her with a gleaming red 2024 saloon car. The vehicle wasn't just a gift, it was a statement of love, success, and promise. As he placed the keys in her hands and bent on one knee, Doris' eyes lit up with triumph. Doris, with her striking looks and effortless charm, embodied the confidence of her Gen Z generation. Born into a well-to-do family, she had known comfort all her life, carrying herself with the air of someone used to privilege. When Emeka proposed, she didn't hesitate. With a playful smile and a hint of excitement, she said yes, her acceptance sealing a union that promised glamour and status. Almost immediately, wedding plans began in full swing. Discussions of venues, gowns, and guest lists filled the air. For Doris, it was more than marriage, it was the perfect stage to showcase her grandeur. Welcome back to our Tales channel, where stories come alive with drama, lessons, and unforgettable characters. If you love gripping narratives and powerful storytelling, you're in the right place. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, and share your thoughts in the comments. Your engagement keeps these stories alive and growing. Whispers grew louder as Emeka's engagement to Doris became known. Family members pulled him aside, voicing concerns about her fiery impatience and the sharpness of her tongue. Friends reminded him of moments when Doris' words cut deeper than necessary, her quick temper leaving no room for peace. "She doesn't respect anyone," an uncle cautioned, shaking his head. They feared her pride and unfiltered speech would strain the marriage before it truly began. Yet Emeka, blinded by affection, dismissed their warnings as jealousy. To him, Doris' flaws were youthful quirks, not storms that could one day unsettle the foundation of his home. Doris had mastered the art of persuasion. Whenever Emeka returned home with whispers from family or quiet complaints from friends about her behavior, she never flinched. Instead, she looked him straight in the eye, her tone smooth and deliberate. "They're just jealous, Emeka. Can't you see it? They envy us, our love, our success, this life we've built." Her words always carried an air of certainty that disarmed him. And in truth, Emeka wanted to believe her. She was his wife, his pride, the woman he had chosen despite every warning. It was easier to side with her than to imagine the people closest to him might be right. Each time she convinced him, Doris' confidence grew. She walked into family gatherings with her head held higher, her voice sharper, her opinions louder. Anyone who dared challenge her found themselves painted as a jealous antagonist in her narrative. With Emeka's unwavering defense, Doris became untouchable. The marriage, still fresh, was slowly molding itself around her strong will and Emeka's quiet indulgence. Then came Joy's visit. Emeka's younger sister had always been outspoken, unafraid to voice her feelings, even when it rubbed others the wrong way. She had heard stories about Doris, whispers of her sharp mouth and quick temper, but hearing stories was different from seeing them firsthand. So when she walked into Emeka's home for the first time, Joy was determined to measure this woman herself. The meeting started warmly enough. Doris, dressed in a stylish lounge set, welcomed Joy with practiced charm. They exchanged pleasantries, but beneath Doris' smile lingered an unmistakable edge. Soon the conversation shifted from light introductions to a subtle clash of personalities. Doris' tone grew impatient, her words laced with sarcasm. Joy, sensing the energy, refused to shrink back. It happened quickly, like sparks meeting dry wood. A comment from Doris, perhaps too sharp, pricked Joy's pride. With eyes narrowing, Joy leaned forward, her voice firm and unyielding. "I hear you are very saucy," she said, her words hanging heavy in the air. "Please, don't bring your bad energy near me. I have no tolerance for your nonsense." The room stiffened. Emeka had just walked in, drawn by the sudden rise in voices, and stood frozen by the doorway. He hadn't expected his sister and his wife to lock horns so soon. His eyes darted between them, unsure whether to intervene. But Doris, unbothered and unwilling to be cowed, gave her retort without hesitation. Her lips curved into a sly smile, her voice dripping with mockery. "I shouldn't come for you, madam? I'm not your Uber driver." The insult was sharp enough to cut the air. It landed with precision, both dismissive and belittling, the kind of remark that left no room for dignity on the receiving end. Joy's face hardened, her cheeks flushing with anger. The tension in the room thickened, ready to spill over into something worse. Then, unexpectedly, Emeka burst into laughter. The sound filled the room, breaking the silence that followed Doris' remark. He laughed as if it were a joke too clever to ignore, as though the sting of the insult was nothing more than playful banter. His amusement caught both women off guard. To Joy, his laughter was betrayal. Here she was, standing up against disrespect, only for her brother to dismiss it as comedy. To Doris, however, his reaction was confirmation of her power. If Emeka could laugh at her sharp tongue, then nothing she said to others could truly matter. He would always shield her, always see the humor in her words, always stand on her side. From that moment, the unspoken message became clear to everyone around them: Doris was untouchable. Arguments, confrontations, warnings, all would fall on deaf ears because Emeka refused to see them for what they were. And so, word spread. Family members and friends who once tried to caution Emeka began to hold back. They learned, just as Joy had, that there was little point in challenging Doris. She always had an answer, always had Emeka's laughter to soften her sharpness, and always walked away victorious. But beneath the laughter and bravado, a dangerous truth lingered. Doris' unchecked confidence was growing into something larger than either of them realized. And while Emeka dismissed it as youthful fire, the seeds of future storms had already been planted. Months later, Doris was buzzing with excitement. Her university friend's wedding in Enugu promised to be the event of the season, and she was honored to be a bridesmaid. Doris had the entire weekend mapped out with precision. Her flight to Enugu was scheduled for 4 p.m., giving her more than enough time to land, check into her hotel, and arrive fashionably late for the 8 p.m. bridal shower. She imagined the music, the laughter, and her grand entrance in full glam. The following day, Friday, was set aside for the traditional wedding, filled with color, culture, and photo-worthy moments, while Saturday promised the grand finale, the white wedding. For Doris, it wasn't just about supporting her friend, it was about making a statement. She meticulously packed her costumes, makeup box, and matching accessories, planning every detail of her looks for the traditional and white weddings. She imagined the bridal shower, the laughter, the photographs, and the chance to shine among old classmates. Confident as ever, Doris envisioned herself arriving in style, certain she would outshine the other bridesmaids with ease. Doris was determined to make an impression.